So one of the options for the Lakers is we'll just wait. And then by the time next season starts and, you have that opportunity when the opportunity comes, probably nothing until Christmas is where teams actually start looking at the NBA trade deadline and start trying to make moves. If you guys remember, when the Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith, they traded for DFS. That was late. That was really early. That was right after Christmas, and it was before the new year. So that's one option for the Lakers. Another option for the Lakers is, well, I got assets. Let me just go use the assets. And they do. And I think if there's one takeaway that I think means the most from this past season or this past offseason is whatever the Lakers have done and whatever they've been able to address, they still got that number one pick in 2031. I do believe that it's going to be very interesting to see. I think it's going to tell a lot what the Lakers do with that 2031 pick, because I think the old Laker crew, and I'm talking about, the front office before new ownership takes over. And I know there's a kind of a transition period here. It's not all going to happen at once, but I think the old regime, you got a first rounder, and before you know it, it's like burning a hole in your pocket. It's like, we got to get rid of this. I was giving the example yesterday. You always got that friend. It's like, if he's got any money in his account, it's gone. It doesn't mean he's being selfish with it. No, I got $100 in my pocket. I'm buying drinks for everybody. It's like, all right. But then you don't have $100 left. And that's it. He's like, I'll figure it out after. It's kind of Lakers with first round picks. The moment they get a first rounder, it's gone. What I find interesting with the 2031 pick is, do they start pumping the brakes on that stuff? Do they stop? Did all of a sudden, does the franchise start looking at draft picks and say, hold up, we don't got to get rid of these picks every 15 minutes. You got to get rid of a pick. Just take a second, let it breathe. If we're going to give up a pick, then we got to make sure that we are really, really getting back the proper value in order to do so. Plus, there's also a lot of rumors that 2031 pick, if they hold on to it, now they have 3 first rounders next year that potentially they can shop. So maybe they still end up giving the picks away, but maybe they just wait to accrue more picks before they actually go out there and make it happen. So I think what's next for the Lakers, I think they could take one of two paths. I think it could be quiet the rest of the way, a lot more calculated. Okay, we address some needs, but there isn't a trade out there that we feel, we want to go make, or we're going to be desperate to go make. So let's pump the brakes on that. But the other idea is they're even more aggressive. And it's, hey, Rui's still up for sale, and so is Dalton Connect. And forget the 2031 pick. And hey, is anybody calling us on Austin Reeves? We're willing to listen. I got a feeling that it's not going to be the case. I have a feeling that things will kind of quiet down a little bit for the Lakers. If a move becomes available, if there's something to be had, then I think they'll address it. But I also wouldn't be surprised at all if the Lakers just say, let's slow down here. We got a couple key pieces that we needed. There's no risk on the roster right now. There's no long-term contracts that the Lakers are putting themselves into, and they have all their assets. To me, it feels like that's probably more likely, more likely than them going out there and going, whatever you want to call it, however you want to describe it, getting super, super aggressive. I find that a little bit less likely. I think he's had a good offseason. Not great, but I think he's had a good offseason. Pelinka's done a good job so far this offseason. And whatever kind of the rumors were, the conversation was, you can have your own opinion on Rob Pelinka. And one decent offseason that really didn't move him up to the top 3 in the Western Conference obviously is not enough to say, hey, Rob Pelinka's changed everything. Pelinka's most definitely had an up and down time with the Lakers in the front office. So CBS Sports puts this article out there, and it says top front offices in the NBA. And no surprise, it had Oklahoma City Thunder number 1. I'm just kind of going through some of this. Here, I'll go a little bit further up. Top 5, I'll tell you who their top front offices were. OKC number 1, Boston number 2, San Antonio number 3. They put Houston at number 4, and the top 5, Cleveland at number 5. So that's their top 5 ranking as far as front offices go. They had the Memphis Grizzlies at 10, little bit further down, Clippers were at 12. Let's just kind of keep going here. We'll find out where the Lakers are. Warriors were 14th. Atlanta was 16th. Keep going. Brooklyn was 17th. All right, who's number 20? 20 was the Charlotte Hornets. 21 was the Denver Nuggets, and they had the Lakers at 22. They also kept emphasizing in the articles like, hey, there's real optimism here because new ownership's going to be coming out. But as of right now, they put the Lakers at number 22 at front offices in the NBA. Now, front offices is not obviously just Rob Pelinka. That's your whole front office. That also has to do with your ownership, has to do with your scouting. It has to do with assistant coaches. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it to make up an entire front court or to make up an entire front office. Here are some of the areas that I think from a Pelinka perspective, I think there's two ways to look at this. I think there's the short term and then there's the long term. I think right now, Rob Pelinka clearly has been in the position long enough to where he understands how the business works and he understands the challenges maybe the Lakers are going to have with doing deals with other teams. I think there's a lot of angles you can take on this from a big picture perspective. The question that I think I have, because I think in the short term, I think Pelinka, like I said, has done a good job so far this offseason. I think the bigger question is Pelinka the guy in 2 years from now? Is he the guy in 5 years from now? Is there going to be a time where under the Luka Doncic clock, if the Lakers are fortunate enough to get back to the NBA Finals and win an NBA championship, and they, you know, they have the trophy presentation, and during that trophy presentation, it's the coach and it's the top players, and then it's some front office executives, and it's the owners. Rob Pelinka going to be a part of that picture if the Lakers are fortunate enough in the next 3 to 5 years to be back kind of on top of the NBA? Will he be a part of it? And I think that's a very tough question to answer, because whatever Pelinka had going for him in regards to, there's a couple things he had going for him. Number one, he did win an NBA championship, and no one can ever take that away. And people, whether you want to give him credit for that or you don't want to give credit, you want to say, oh, well, that had nothing to do with it. I don't even know that the championship in 2020, I feel like most of the time that's brought up. I don't even know who gets credit for that, because anytime it's brought up, people want to devalue what that championship was. All right, you could devalue it as much as you want. They won an NBA championship, and Pelinka was a part of that, you know, obviously clearly a part of that front office. 3 to 5 years from now, is Pelinka still here? Is the direction of the franchise going in the right direction? Do things start changing because there is new ownership and he just happens to get credit for it? I think it's a tough one to answer. I would lean towards, if you said 3 to 5 years, is Pelinka still sitting in that Lakers chair? If I had to just guess, I'm just basing it off of what I've seen so far, I would think that the Lakers identify somebody somewhere else and say, this is one of the top 5 executives in the NBA, and we're bringing them in. And we don't care how much money it costs. And it doesn't matter because the front office doesn't have to have a salary cap or anything like that. I'd have to imagine the model for the Lakers will change. And Pelinka just signed, I think it was in, maybe it was in April, or at some point after the Luka Doncic trade. He signed a long-term extension with the Lakers. Nobody really gave the details of what long-term means, but he did sign a long-term extension. But the way I kind of look at the way ownership will operate eventually is they're not going to try to recreate the wheel. They're going to say to themselves, who are the top 5 executives in the NBA? Let's go get one of those guys. And let's give one of those guys all the resources that you could possibly think of. I think there is going to be something for Rob Pelinka, and this happens in any business. New ownership takes over, and they may very well say, yeah, we want to hire our general manager. We want to hire our sales manager. I want to hire my president of, my CFO. That happens a lot when ownership changes in any business, in any company. I don't know if this is going to be all that much different when it comes to Pelinka, but I'm going to give Pelinka his due, because I do think he's kind of ran into some things this summer that has worked out well, and hopefully will work out. And it's going to have absolutely it's going to be no risk or no threat to what the Lakers are doing big picture. And I think the big picture in mind will be, do you have enough assets? If one of these big time players wants to shake loose, will you have the assets to go get him? And I think the Lakers are clearly holding on to some assets and holding on to that 2031 pick. They got kind of lucky, to be honest with you. The Mark Williams deal that didn't go down and the Lakers backing out of it. They would have had Mark Williams. Maybe there would have been questions about his health, and you would have not had that 2031 pick. Obviously, Dalton Connect was part of that deal as well. You kept those assets, all of those assets, and you got Ayton, who's 26 years old, that has other issues, but not necessarily health issues. It's going to be, can he really make an imprint in the NBA? Can he do what he's hoping to accomplish in the league as well? Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Let's see what we got here. Pelinka will keep his job for holding on to our assets, and next year they'll expect him to make a trade with the 3 firsts. Which I will tell you this, doesn't that sound a lot more responsible than just waving off every first rounder you get at any time? If they have the money like they claim they do, then I'm sure they'll be fine paying Rob to sit at home if they fire him. Yeah, Alex, I'll tell you this, and I think this just kind of comes with especially this ownership group. Maybe they let it marinate for a couple of years. They kind of leave it alone, and then they come to a decision. This is the best way that I can describe it. They probably already have a list right now. Who are the top 5 president of basketball operations around the NBA? Identify. Who are they? Okay, it's this name and it's that name, and this guy's over here, and this is the contract that he has left. Go get one of them. That's, franchises that have the juice to go do that. I don't think JJ Redick's going anywhere anytime soon, but hypothetically, in 3 years from now, if JJ Redick isn't doing what they feel like he should be doing, don't you think they would kind of do the same thing? Is there a salary cap in the front office, coaching, this, that? There isn't? Cool. Give me the 5 top best coaches in the NBA and see one of those guys want to come coach the Los Angeles Lakers. That's going to actually really be the biggest advantage the Lakers have when the dust settles. The CBA is going to be the CBA, but at the end of the day, that doesn't have any effect on what they do in their front office. By the way, 22 in that front office ranking, I could, no question about it, find 15 front offices that are worse than the Lakers. That's, my opinion, but they put the Lakers at 22 on CBS. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.